Hello out there, and just wanted to check back in. Today was the final day of the BlackStar Film Festival. Film festival is from August 2nd through to the 5th, and today I didn't go. Today was the final day, and I was going to view possibly one or two films today, but circumstances I wasn't able to go for the final day. But I went through 3 of the 4 days that the festival occurred. And overall, I'm going to say that I really enjoyed the festival, and I'm looking forward. As I mentioned in the previous video, this was the inaugural uh, event here, and they're looking to make this into an annual Black Film Festival here in Philadelphia. And so I'm really will look forward to making this a yearly event, make it more successful, and I was glad I was able to support it. Uh, this is the flyer here. This camera shows everything backwards. So, but and I mentioned the previous film that or films that I viewed, and since that on Friday and Saturday, Friday I saw Restless City, and on yesterday, depending on the day that I loaded this, Saturday I should say, I saw United States of Hoodoo. Restless City is a fiction film. United States of Hoodoo is a documentary. I'm going to play some things down there in the links. Uh, you know, um, the first day, or the first film that I viewed, if you watched the old video, I enjoyed it extremely. The film since, there was some issues and some problems. Restless City, I saw the trailer, and the trailer blew my mind. And the trailer alone made me say, I even think I was considering not going. But when I watched the trailer, I said, I'll have to go see this film. And when I viewed the film was very slow, and I'm not sure how the audience reacted to it. It was very slow. It was a good film in the sense that it showed you um, a bit of African American life, or actually African immigrant life in America that you wouldn't normally see. So for that, it was valuable. But I think the story alone could have used a little work. It was just a lot didn't happen, and it was very slow. But I think it's worth seeing. And again, just for the representation that it showed, it was a movie that's has a right to be made. There was a movie about Senegalese immigrants in America that probably was a lot better than this one. It's called Little Senegal, and I saw it years ago. And I just thought about this film. I haven't, and for whatever reason, when I saw Restless City, I never even thought about it. But Little Senegal was a much better film, and that film was about a guide at the slave castles in Africa, and they have tourists that go there. He was a guide; he could speak English, and he traveled to America to find relatives of his that were sold into slavery. He met them, and I forget it was and I guess it was in Harlem that he met these people. Were this in Harlem? I think it was. If I remember correctly, the director was a French Algerian. I'm not sure if he's a Frenchman of Algerian descent, or Tunisian descent, or North African descent, I should say, or he was actually from Algeria or Tunisia. I forget, but and he actually starred in the movie. The director was in the movie too. I don't even know if that film is available commercially. It may not be available in the United States, and I haven't seen anything of it since I saw it at the film festival. So if you want to see two films about Senegalese in the United States, I would suggest, uh, with a great amount of I don't even know what the word to say here, but I would suggest Little Senegal, and then also if you can also see Restless City, which on a 1 to 10 I would give it a 6 or a 7, but Also, the other movie that I mentioned here is the documentary United States of Hoodoo, which also was valuable. And also, it was a film I wanted to see after I saw the trailer. I said, "Oh man, this trailer looks amazing." Um, I'm a very lazy man. Sometimes when I'm at home, I'm comfortable. I'm like, I don't feel like going to see a film. But when I saw the trailer, I said, okay, this might be the only chance I get to see this film. Let me go see it. So I went, and again, the film was pretty good, and it had a lot of It had one personality, and this is probably the reason why I went to see the film. Is if you see the trailer, one of the first people you see speaking is a man named Ishmael Reed, who's a famous writer here in America. And the thing is, I've encountered Ishmael Reed more not through his writing so much as through him as an intellectual. You know, there's a great interview that he did on the with a Pakistani American writer. He has a blog called Goat Milk, and he did like a 3-part interview with Ishmael Reed. It was just great reading. I'll post the links here, so if anyone else wants to read that interview, they can. But you can see the intellect of this man. But he was, he appears on the trailer, and he was probably in the movie for just maybe 10 minutes at the most. The film, what it's about is a man's journey through the United States. First name is Darius. I forget his last name. He's spent many years, I think almost 20 years in Germany, but he's moved back to the United States after his father passed away. And then he just was fascinated by voodoo, and he wanted to look and see how voodoo has influenced African American culture. And he traveled around the United States and spoke to different people. A lot of the people he already knew, and people he was close to and friends with. And there are some issues I had with the film because one of the things that they did in the film that I, for a while, had a problem with while I'm watching the film, but then I came to grips with it as I'm watching the film. They showed practitioners of voodoo in the United States, but the only practitioners they showed were people that were not black. Let me just say it like that. And I had some problems with it because when you do that in the film, when your representation, you only show one thing, then it creates an impression. But at the end of the film, they did a Q&A, and the director was there. Director is German, of half German and Benin descent, and which is kind of, Benin uh, was, I think, is the birthplace of voodoo. So that's kind of significant here, and probably why he was in on this film. But he said during his talk that they weren't trying to get authentic representation of voodoo. They were just trying to show how it influenced certain things. So based on that, you can see why they would that impression they did by showing the practitioners as being people that weren't black was something that they maybe thought was relevant. This is showing the influence of this in the world. Uh, and there was someone that had an issue with that. The same thing I felt. They actually said it during the Q&A, and it was the last question, so it kind of put everything off on a bad note. But I just want to say, because it's getting kind of long and I'm running low on time, it was a very interesting festival. I'm looking forward to it. And I might actually make another video and do some more thoughts because I didn't really get to say everything I wanted to say. But, stay tuned for more videos. Thanks. Peace.